But at least it's daylight.
Quicker every year.
It does, I swear to God.
And just so you know, this meeting was totally advertised.
It's what?
It was totally advertised. I didn't skip anybody, so
Absolutely.
I went out to the towns and the paper and the
Thank you. You're always on it.
website.
You're always on it, Kath.
She is.
I'll
I
say.
tried.
Oh,
You only gotta not do it once, and then you remember.
Yeah.
okay, we are live on YouTube now, so
Perfect.
Alrighty. All right, so let's call this the meeting for the Midcoast Solid Waste Corporation for April 24th, 2024 to order. All right, we will start with any public or director comments not related to the agenda. Anything? Any issues? They just say we are going to, I should mention that Jim Annis is no longer on our board due to health reasons.
Okay.
oh, he's officially not on this board either.
Yeah,
Okay.
I asked. So, moving on. Review and approval of the January 24, 2024 meeting minutes. Any questions or concerns here? Other than we should probably flip around some of the labels at the top, where it still has you as chair, and then it says like, I'll do meeting to order.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, just move.
Well, you become chair of the meeting after the vote.
Maybe it was it that vote?
The vote to
I
it.
didn't.
You were already,
I thought it was the meeting
Before
because
that,
it was
yeah.
when I was
Yeah.
there.
Well, at the top, it says members
And I
present,
missed
you
the
have Bob
January.
as chair, Allison as treasurer. I was just saying we should move the,
I'm sorry, I thought that was,
and then underneath it says,
yes,
I was chair, so just to
It
clarify
should be
that.
changed, Eric.
got it.
Yeah,
My only comment also is related to the use of the word chair. And I think you meant under the finance committee report, Chair McKellar, because maybe I think I'm technically chair of the finance committee, but
yeah, I saw that too.
I think it just gets confusing. If,
Yeah.
Yeah.
treasurer McKellar, or just McKellar, or
Yeah, whatever.
just to make it clear that
Finance
I'm
committee chair.
not the chair, or yeah, any of those things, but.
Okay.
Yeah, because I read that too, and my brain immediately did the same thing. I was like, wait a minute.
What's she trying to do?
Right.
I just told Beth to start slipping it in until everybody got used to it.
There you go. All right, so we have a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes. Duly noted changes.
Second.
All right, and all those in favor?
All abstain since I wasn't
You
here.
wasn't here.
Unanimous. Unanimous.
Unanimous.
And one abstention, right?
Right?
Yeah. All right, facility manager report.
Yep, well, I just want to make one comment and then I'll answer any questions if anybody would like to talk about what, because there's kind of a lot of content in that manager's report.
Yep.
But I know it's been a long time coming, but I talked with Vinnie and Beth today, and we've been working on trying to get the credit card up and running, and we will be able to accept credit cards starting tomorrow.
Great.
Fantastic.
So, it's a little extra, it's more work on Beth's end for the cost tracking piece.
Yeah.
But we're in a transition. This is really a bridge, the credit card. This type of credit card system is a bridge to get us to the new POS system that that we budgeted.
Right.
And so it'll probably change again, but we are using what the town's using right now, and we're able to accept credit cards. So, it's taken a while, but they worked hard, and we've been able to do it, and I think it's gonna work well for the bridge to get us to the POS system. And
Will you advertise it to the public at the facility?
we really wanna kind of do more of a soft start so that they can get used to using the credit card, so we don't hold up traffic, so everybody doesn't start just pulling out their credit card, because they have to, get into the muscle memory of using it.
Good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody asks, yeah, we're gonna say, yeah, you can use a credit card, but.
So Dave, if to that point.
Yeah.
Slowing up the traffic and everything.
It's just a
Obviously-
little longer, he said,
Yeah.
not much.
Yeah, but have you had in the back of your mind that maybe we're gonna need to consider
Yep,
lanes.
I thought
Okay.
exactly that. If we start seeing we're having like busy days where we gotta break the traffic into two,
Yeah.
we're gonna open the other side of the gate, and we're
Okay.
gonna put the credit card machine on one side, put a sign that says credit cards and cash, and charge
Okay.
the charges on the other.
Are you
Good
need
idea.
2 people at the gate?
We usually have 2 people
Oh, you
on weekends,
Okay.
but we would have to staff for that.
Does accepting the cards mean that somebody with a debit card that's badged Visa or MasterCard can use that since it processes through the same way?
I believe so. Yep.
Yep.
The one thing we haven't kind of gotten squared away yet is people with charge accounts using credit cards. That's a little more complex
Oh,
To pay their bill.
to pay their bill.
oh,
But we will implement that when we do the new POS system and all of that starting in July. We're gonna start meeting with the companies that we're looking at. So there's the 2 programs. There's one called SMS Turbo, which is gonna be sunsetting in 2 years. And they're moving to this other program, which is a web-based program called Fulcrum. And we gotta determine which one of those we wanna go with. I mean, I'm trying to advocate for the online version, because that'll take us further down the road. And then the other thing is so there's that, it's the QuickBooks versus the QuickBooks Online.
right.
So we're looking at those 2 things too, to work with this, so everything works together. So when we implement these 2 things, whichever ones we choose, that should take us out pretty far into the future. Right now, we're running on obsolete software with a bad, or with an old POS system, very old.
So, and I only ask this question because I'm completely removed from all of this. And you guys know a lot more about it than I do, but does our bank recommend anything like that and have them run with that, and then it's their problem, not ours?
Well,
Does it work that way, or?
Well, that software that you have to use is specific to have to tie into the scale and everything.
Yeah.
So you kind of need something a little different.
Okay.
And there's companies out there that make the software just for like the trash business.
Understood, okay.
The SMS Turbo is what I implemented in Rockland, and it worked well. At first it was tough getting everybody on board, but once they got on board, they would have never gone back.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's good, 1 step.
Yeah, and then, there's a good summary of all of the stuff that we've accepted and totaled up for the year, and there for you to look at.
That's all year to date, right? It's all year to
That's for 2023 calendar year. Then the other thing is for the North Quarry, we've got the float, we've got everything built, we've got the telephone pole in, power box. We're just now waiting on the permit by rule to be finalized, and then we'll be able to start bringing the water level down in that quarry. And we're gonna discharge it on the other side. And we also met with leachate management systems, and they're in the dialogue with DEP. And you can see that photo I put in the manager's report outlines the potential discharge locations that we would want clarification on, if there is the ability to use those locations and what it would take to get the water to an acceptable level to discharge at those locations.
Cool.
That's good.
Good report, Dave.
That's great that they're gonna, the North Quarry stuff, because you can see how high it is.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, it's just like, it has to be
so the update,
migrating the
yeah,
other way.
absolutely. The update that's not in here is that the North Quarry has never been this high.
I don't doubt it.
Me-
So we're above the gauge where we measure. And we've been that way for 2 weeks. And the landfill is at the highest level we've ever seen. Well, not the highest, but it's up there in terms of the leachate level. And it's not because the pumps have gone down, it's just because we've gotten a lot of rain.
Sure.
So just to give you perspective, the state average for rainfall is 45 inches a year.
About 60.
The mid-coast is 60. Calendar year 2023, we got 68 inches.
Geez.
Yeah, so it just,
Do you see it starting to level off?
Not yet.
A little bit, not yet?
Well, which one?
the North Quarry.
Hmm.
The North Quarry doesn't seem to have gone down much. We haven't seen the gauge yet.
Well,
Well, it's, I mean, it did kind of, it was for years after we did the gut project, it was rising at a pretty steady
yeah,
level. And now it's,
yeah.
the rate of increase has significantly slowed. I think because it's
Yeah.
finding pathways underground.
Probably.
But with the south quarry and the leachate levels, do you think there's any, because that's a really high level.
How high is the level of the quarry?
Depends on where you're measuring it. Right now, we have a faulty piezometer, so we're
Well,
not,
that's what I'm wondering, is if the piezometer, you could, I'm hoping we're getting possibly a wrong reading.
I think we are, and so what I did was I measured the production well, and that is significantly lower. But the good news is that our permit and our review process, we went through that a week and a half ago with the DEP about putting the well in. The well driller is getting ready to mobilize and bring the gear starting in May, to start putting the well in. So that's another update. We're getting ready to put the new well in. So, you know, we're doing everything that you would do if you had this problem, but we're already doing it.
Yeah.
There's nothing more we can do.
We already had it.
What is the level?
Up there to the quarry?
It's 103 in the production well, it's 107 in the piezometer, but the piezometer is faulty.
Maybe, yeah.
And we're guessing, and we've been doing a lot of external inspections of the quarry itself to make sure we're not having any breakouts or anything like that, we're not. So,
The berm that there's talk of maybe that the lowest lip of the quarry originally was something like 107, 108, if you read all the historical stuff, but then in 94, when they first started going through all the stuff with the DP, they installed they called it a berm or a dam near the back, and that's at elevation 112. So.
yeah, and I mean, there's not much you can do, you know what I mean? You're pumping as much as you can. We have a plan to put in a pump in the north quarry to bring that water level down, so we're not pulling it over to the south quarry, and we have a well going in the south quarry. You can't do any more than that.
The well is going in,
Right in the well, yeah,
and when will that get any idea?
starting in May. Oh, we're mobilizing in May.
Great,
Yeah, we're all, you know,
that's great.
yeah, we're moving on.
You'll be fine.
Oh, yeah.
A lot depends on the rain we get in the next weeks.
Well, NOAA just released their summer forecast for weather, and they're predicting the Northeast is gonna have one of the hottest, driest summers we've had in a long time. So,
Well, the groundwater is at the highest it's ever been in most parts of their whole area.
exactly.
It's measured not in feet, in inches. And that saturated ground is not good for,
I think we'll start seeing it go down.
well, this summer, if you're right about the dryness, yeah. Oh, okay,
Now everybody's gonna complain about the low lake levels.
Yeah,
That'll be the theme this year.
yeah.
better keep it there.
I don't know, it's hard to,
All right.
people forget very quickly.
So that it? Any questions? Any more questions, comments? No?
Thank you.
All right, so we want to move on to number 4, the municipal solid waste contract discussion, or
Is that the one you want to put into?
do you want to do we have Fred available to do 5 and we can do the other one, flip them around?
Yeah, I think you should do Fred.
Is Fred actually coming?
I don't think Fred's gonna,
I didn't
I
think.
thought he was going to
There's
be
not a lot to
online.
discuss,
No?
frankly.
yeah, Fred's not here, right?
Not that I
No, I
can
didn't
see,
say.
but it does
No.
say, I think that's confusing a little because it says Fred Brewer fiscal year.
We're just providing you with the,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to join by
No.
via Zoom. That was my
But we
confusion.
can discuss it next.
Yeah,
Sure.
let's do that next.
Cool.
I think it makes more sense.
Yeah,
All right, so let's talk about the fiscal audit.
I was relieved to see that the number on the unassigned fund balance was what he said
Yeah, so.
it was going to be. We're,
The 335.
yeah, I mean, it's a little hard for me to believe, but,
Was there anything there that was alarming or something that deserves attention? And I ask this type of question because I can look at stuff like that all day long and be confused and keep going back and going back and going back. So I gotta draw from Eric and from you.
Yeah.
If I can. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, to me, the alarming thing has been that I just didn't feel that we should have more in the unassigned fund balance than before. I think there's, I mean, we are doing well. We have, the only thing that I think there could be the potential for is that something might not have gotten carried forward, or for one of the capital projects, potentially may have rolled into the unassigned fund balance. I would need to go back and check,
But this is
like
what
the
was-
well or something. It's, the worst case scenario would be that would only be really on paper, and even if there's a chance that the well stuff maybe didn't get carried forward, and so it's being reflected in a larger unassigned fund balance rather than in this year's budget, that isn't gonna push us into a dangerous area, because that's gonna get reimbursed
Right.
by the closure fund.
And by the state.
Yeah, so we're good. I mean, when I presented quickly to the Cameron Select Board about like our flat assessment to the towns, I felt pretty good about the work that we've done here, considering, you know, raising fees isn't like that fun a lot of the time, and we have stayed on top of it, and we've made it so that it's not like it's not like the county coming to or I don't know what Waldo County's doing, but we keep getting, everything is going up, everything from the library to the county, and we were able to go back to the towns and say, you know, it's gonna be the same as before.
3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And that's not what most places are experiencing.
No.
So
It's like-
having a lot of the same people on board, paying attention, and I think it's really paid off for everybody.
Yeah, I had the same experience. It was nice to say, look, my budget went down.
Right?
Only that much, but hey, it didn't go up.
Right, there's all this controversy about all this other stuff. It's like, okay.
Are there any superficial, one word, special reasons why CDD has dropped so much in last year?
I think our rates, you know, increasing our disposal rate has probably turned some waste away.
Has the limitation to towns caused some of that?
No, no, it's more of a, you know, if someone thinks they're gonna get it cheaper and somewhere else, then we might lose some of it, but that's the reality of it. You don't wanna be low enough where people are, you know, just piling in. You wanna be right on the fence all the time with that number.
Hold on, is the revenues down, or just
The volume,
The
revenue's
down
a bit down.
20%.
yeah.
as compared to last year, not compared
This is
to what we
23,
budgeted?
23 over 22.
All you need is a couple big projects though, and that can change that. That, we could have had a couple bigger projects in the prior year that.
The budget was 500,000, the income was 400.
Oh, that's different. That's not a difference in revenue from year to year. That's a
No,
different.
no, I'm sorry, it's just a difference in budget.
I don't believe that there has been a big change.
A little
in-
bit, if you look,
Because what we were doing is overestimating the revenue in the landfill. That was definitely
right.
I see.
an issue, and so it was a little painful to budget more
So
realistically.
the actual feels more normal. Is that true or not? Or you don't know?
I think the actual is, the actual budget number or the actual volume?
The actual income from CDD.
CDD-related income. The other thing is that they had a bunch of stuff, because I remember talking to Fred about this.
Mhm.
They had bundled in various things with CDD
Oh,
that didn't,
I see, I see,
when he had shown me some of the charts
I see.
of what went into that. And I said, we really need to be able to see those things separated out. So that
I
could
see.
be,
It's,
because 23 says that operating revenues, it actually says that our revenue increased from 2022.
right,
Yeah,
but
right, it did.
our
Yeah.
volume went down a little bit.
But, solid waste related income went up, the CDD went down,
Yeah.
they balanced.
Exactly.
Operating revenues on page 12.
I didn't do the whole thing.
Page 12, it was page 12.
Page 12 of the audit.
Yeah, we
I
were,
gave you the one page of
We were budgeting 508, we brought it
So look,
407,
this is
so-
what I'm looking at, 23 over 22, CDD
Right.
renewed income.
Yeah, it was still higher there. It was still higher year over year, but against our budget, it was less, but we also brought in more on the MSW related income by more than the same amount.
Right.
So overall, they washed. So it was
Yeah.
probably just, it could have been some reclassification, or it just, the
I
way
see.
it worked.
No, I take back what I said then. I was thinking that I had to explain a decrease in CDD revenue year over year, but that's not the case.
No,
it's
That's
not.
actually
It's-
encouraging,
No, it's not.
It's just
probably
against
related
the
to our
budget.
fee increase.
Yeah.
No, it's not year over year.
Let's see.
It's a,
Construction and
Construction,
demolition debris.
the waste that goes in the landfill, so CDD that goes in the landfill, MSW goes in the
In
hoppers.
fact, year over year, to your point, Allison, it's an increase,
Quite, yeah,
almost $80,000
Yeah.
increase.
but you're saying the volume went down, Dave?
Volume went down slightly.
Well, that's because we increased our fees, so we,
That's what I said,
Either that or there just weren't as many
projects.
projects.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of new stuff that went up, but I'm not sure how much demo there
Well,
was.
there's a lot of demo going on.
Is there?
I'm blaming
I don't
you.
drive around, so,
But whether it's increased or not, I don't know.
yeah.
also, when you think about how we measure that, are you using the
The scale software, we're not changing anything, that's what it is.
then we have the mix loads and I don't know.
We're
There's-
counting, so we do a quarterly demo report that we have to pay a fee on. And that includes all of those things. Not just what we put in the landfill, but other landfill items, right, Beth? It's itemized, so we capture everything. It's just slightly down because I think we raised our rates a little bit.
Right.
Or because
We didn't get a
Like Eric said,
couple
or
big
because-
projects.
they didn't tear down a school or they
We
didn't.
diverted a few things, so
Yeah.
mattresses out and.
I think the bottom line, the audit looks very good.
It really does.
Yeah.
That's the
I
thing.
mean, overall,
Yeah.
the outcome of this is
Where it should
right
be.
on, yeah. I mean, I think we did a good job budgeting because nothing is that extreme one way or the other. And we came out with a positive number, so.
Nice to have.
Mhm.
Oh, all right. No, that's good. Nice report.
Well, we've got a bunch of.
Thank you, Bob.
Yeah,
So,
I think everything worked out well, so
Right.
that's what's important is, our budgeting process is working the way it should.
And if we could just see what we could do to sweet talk Fred Brewer into starting a little earlier on our audit in the future.
Yeah, I agree.
We should try to not put off
I agree.
any more of the interlocal agreement discussion too about that date. Because what we've discovered is, I don't know if the auditors are getting slower since the interlocal agreement, or if it just wasn't perceived as important to have that, or if even the numbers that you get from the state for the allocation between the towns.
Right.
We don't get that until, Jody went back and looked at, like, historically when we get the apportionment numbers, and it was the January 15th. So committing to have a budget
Mhm.
before that,
Yes.
I've kind of forgotten about, every year, we're like, oh, we really need to get through the interlocal agreement, look at that.
Were we thinking end of January? What were we thinking? What did we talk about?
Well, we could still work through the budget and then just wait for those last little pieces.
Yeah.
So that we're not putting something out that's really skewing it one way or the other. That's my concern. I mean, that's really, we can still work on it through December,
I see.
January.
We need to target an earlier timeframe to start on it.
Yeah. and
Well,
it
we've
doesn't have
we've
to-
tried that, because then you're doing it so far ahead of time.
Yeah,
you're gonna.
I think we basically just need to have another discussion about
Yeah.
what makes sense and what we can stick to and what should be in the interlocal agreement
Yes.
as a thing that's approved by all the voters, and you need
Yes.
that to change, and whether it makes sense to have that date in there, or it should be somewhere else, or, I don't have a definite opinion on what it should be, but
But it is.
it's a conflict every year.
So is this something we can do during a meeting, or we gotta have the committee?
Well, we could have the governance committee take a look at that, I suppose, and decide and recommend what should change and how it's recommended to be changed, because otherwise we're gonna keep getting comments from people saying, I need it yesterday. And it ain't gonna happen.
I'd like to see maybe, since we have been saving quite a bit of money on legal expenses, maybe have Bill Kelly review it, and as, you know, he's the town attorney for a couple of the towns, to have him look and see if there are things that jump out at him as just antiquated, and then and so that we can have a conversation that's a little bit more guided.
You mean with the interlocal agreement?
Yes.
Didn't we do that when Deb?
That was only the bylaws. We didn't even touch the interlocal agreement.
But that has to go to voters, right?
Right, because we keep avoiding the thing that needs to go to voters because it's so much work and you have to get it to all the towns ahead of time.
Well, I
And
think the legal review part of it's great, but Bill is really not gonna make substantive comment about schedule for a budget.
I think he's going to be able to make some substantive comments about what types of things make sense to have in those types of agreements versus what goes in an interlocal agreement and what goes in bylaws. That interlocal agreement was created at a time of extreme uncertainty. It actually includes language about, that can be interpreted one way or the other, about maybe the towns all have to approve the fee schedule individually. Some things that are just, may have made a lot of sense back then, but probably don't make sense now. There's even language about, like, for the first Midco solid waste budget, it's gonna be due on this date, and subsequently after that's gonna be due on this date. So, I don't, you know, it just clearly hasn't been looked at since 1994.
So we can get to it.
Something that needs to be done.
Yeah.
It really does, because it needs to be modernized, basically.
It does.
Some language about the contracts and what should go back to all the towns and what goes back to, because technically maybe a 30-year contract needs to go and be voted on by all the select boards or the electorate. I've seen it interpreted both ways. Like, we voted on the Eco Main Fiber, I think, in each individual town.
We did.
But what I heard at the time was like that was out of an abundance of caution, not necessarily because we had to. It would just be good to get that spelled out a little bit more. And whatever people want, if we want it to be that all the voters in all 4 towns vote on every waste disposal contract, that's fine, but I don't know if we do, because we have.
What Bill could do is make a list of items that need discussion, need clarification. He can do that, rather than him necessarily recommending each change, because that's going to be subjective. But I think he could go through and sort of say, this is not clear, it needs to be
clarified.
And then we can take that.
Or you might want to consider getting rid of some certain, do you still want to do this? He can flag things that we might want.
Some of that's operational, though, and he may not, but whatever, I think it'd be quicker for Bill to go through and say, this is not clear.
Clarification and discussion.
Well, yeah,
worth asking.
It's like a funnel, you're trying to funnel down to a few things that just glaring to attorney. Maybe other things are not glaring to attorney. We can take that and then look at it, or whatever way we want to do it, as our own perspective, and say, he's not hitting some points that we have thorns in our side from.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, to think about trying to get a budget done in November.
No,
Yes.
You're not even halfway through the year yet. I mean, that doesn't really make much sense.
We know that, we know that.
doesn't work. All right, so back to the contract discussions.
Financials,
What do you want to do, the financials?
get everything done.
Yeah, you might as well get it out of the way. Yeah, let's look at the financials while we're already on the topic.
Yeah, what the heck. Yeah, look at them sideways.
I know. So let's do number 6, the financials.
Okay.
Let's see. Can we turn it sideways? Sure. And we'll do that.
Should be able,
Good luck.
should be able to rotate it.
Yeah, I'm gonna rotate mine here.
I did read through it, I didn't see much that was glaring, but maybe I missed something.
Yeah, they came that way, I couldn't change them.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, it's in the piece of paper here too, by the way. Treasurer.
I'm successfully rotating mine.
No, it looked pretty good. Just what was the effective date of this year-to-date? Is it a March?
It was 4/18, Bob.
4/18.
Dated 4/18.
Last That's right.
Perfect.
Thursday.
Yeah, I assumed it was April something, but I didn't have any questions.
Oh, what about this is a little off topic, but is there still time for anybody else that would want to go to the MRA conference?
We could still send somebody, we just have to pay a little more. Does anybody want to go to the MRA conference, Monday, Tuesday?
It's the Maine Resource Recovery Association. At the Samoset. It's pretty.
Monday and
it's-
Tuesday of this coming week.
No?
I can,
Sarah?
No, I booked on Tuesday, and I also am borrowing my husband's car because mine died.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, I took it in to get the inspection, and they
Oh,
said
my God.
it's effectively gonna cost you $11,000 to make it drivable because the rocker panel's rusted,
Oh,
so
jeez, oh, jeez.
I'm waiting for a new car.
Well, back to the financials, I don't have any.
Sorry.
They look pretty good.
It's not really that bad.
so our
That's a
leach
little
aid,
really-
our leach aid's still our big problem. So what is that, if it's dated April, is that the last one for the year, or is there one more bill that we can plug in?
Oh, good question.
Oh, we're gonna get it.
I meant, that popped through my head, and I want to say we're done.
I think so too, because I think
But,
the next one
yeah,
comes in
because the next one we don't get
July.
till after
The annual,
July.
the annual meeting, July.
Yeah,
So I think generally it rolls that way through each budget.
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, you only.
Well,
So that's not too bad.
that's not bad at all.
No,
I was expecting a lot,
Kidding me?
you only get two and a half
bigger
months
difference.
I
I'm
think
happy.
it was the catch-up year
That's
That's good.
a gift from heaven right there.
Okay, well, that's looking pretty good
that,
then.
we do
Yeah.
have the first couple weeks in July to pay bills, so it shows up. I'm pretty sure that's how we
Yeah,
talked about that last
I
year.
think you end up with the one from the prior
Yeah, I
budget,
need to
and
double check. I can't get in Trio right now, so it's hard for me to.
mhm. Even if we got one more, we still wouldn't be that bad.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
And,
still within what our reasonable thought process was.
yeah, I mean,
So that's not too bad.
Because we budgeted way more for it this year.
Yeah.
No, well, yeah, I mean,
we're not
the
doing.
other things that Camden might,
All right.
the schedule for raising rates is also off with our budget. So it's like, but I think at the time when we did all that, the leachate wasn't the predominant factor in the Midco solid waste budget, but now it's going to be. We're not gonna set the rates in Camden for, I just remembered that when we did this budget for the next year, we were not factoring in a rate increase,
Right,
Yeah, right,
but
Okay,
maybe we can just
all right.
set our own rate.
I'm hoping with the dry summer and with this implementing the well and the pumping of the North Quarry,
it'll work,
we might be all right.
it'll work.
Yeah, any other questions on the financials? You all right?
Thank you, thank you.
All right, so that puts us back on the contract discussion.
Well, I think Dave's idea is good to revert to executive session.
Yeah. So, do you wanna,
Yeah, we would talk
we
about
have to
any
make-
other contract like this, we
We
would
have
talk
to-
about in an
We have
executive
to make a
session.
motion,
right, but you've got the language, so,
which just with your MRSA numbers.
yeah, what is it?
I'll make the motion.
I will give it to you, and
MRSA A 6,
so it's 4056C.
4156C, okay,
Yeah. Under one MRS 4056C.
right.
Yeah.
So I will move that we leave the directors meeting and convene an executive session under MRSA 4056C.
For the purpose of talking about
But
contract
that's what
negotiations.
4056C is.
I just feel like for anybody watching,
That's fine, that's fine.
like, there's no reason
That's
to
fine.
not,
That's fine, that's fine.
so to discuss
Do we have a
negotiations
second?
for
I'll second.
waste disposal options.
All those in agreement? Unanimous.
All right, so we
So,
have
hold on, let me,
to, yeah, take your time, take a coffee break.
and then that will mean that in order to do any voting,
You have to come out,
back.
we will
you have to come out,
reconvene.
right,
And so I'll go,
just disconnect this for now.
I will, but for anybody watching,